대체 어디야?
집이지. 우리 새로 시작한다고 그랬잖아. 이게 그거야. 아빠는 빅 가든 하나 만들 거야.
What a wonderful day to be in the house of the Lord. If you're here with us for the first time, please stand. What a beautiful family. Glad you're here.
How's your daddy like that new farm? He growing things good, doing things right?
Yes.
미국 애들은 할머니랑 같이 방 쓰는 거 싫어한다던데.
I don't like Grandma.
걔는 안 그래요. 한국애니까.
Grandma smells like Korea.
야, 뭐라고? 그랜마 스멜?
우리 여기 있다가 망할 거야. 애들을 위해서라도 한 번 더 생각해 볼 수 있잖아.
애들도 한 번쯤 아빠가 뭔가 해내는 거 봐야 될 거 아니야.
있잖아 이놈아.
할머니는 진짜 손을 같지 않아요.
할머니 같은 게 뭔데?
쿠키도 만들고 나쁜 말도 안 하고.
Aloha. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And last night, I went ahead and I saw a movie that has been out for about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks now. It's available pretty much everywhere streaming if you purchase it VOD. You know, on YouTube, Vudu, Google Play, and I believe in some select theaters as well. And I believe it's, I think it won Best Foreign Language Film at the Golden Globes, as a matter of fact, and will definitely be a Oscar contender this year at the Oscars. And that movie is Minari. And without further ado, shock a thumbs up. It's good to see. I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down. It's bad to see. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And for the movie Minari, it is a shock a thumbs up. Now this stars Steven Yeun from The Walking Dead, television series where he pretty much got his major start and became a big star. From that, after that he's done various animated voiceovers and is continuing to do great things live as well on screen. And this Korean movie is just, I'm sure, the first of many, many more to come. And with these accolades that he's gotten in this movie, and the movie itself, he'll definitely be coming back more and more. So now this is a Korean movie, basically starring Steven Yeun, Han Ye-nin, Alan S. Kim, Yoon Yoo-jung, and Noel Chow. Now, Steven Yeun and Han Yen are a married couple with their 2 children, Noel Chow, a daughter, the eldest daughter, and a younger son, Alan S. Kim, played by Alan S. Kim, and joined by their grandmother, played by Yoon Yoo-jung. Now, this is set in the 70s in Midwest America, Arkansas, of all places. And essentially, Steven and Han are a young married couple moving from California, looking for, better opportunities. Or at least Steven Yeun's character is looking for better opportunities, as we find out that Han Yen is quite content living there in California, where she and her family had pretty much been and settled for most of their lives so far. basically what takes place is they are, well, like I said, this is the early 70s to mid 70s. It's never exactly specified, but looking at the make and the model of the cars is where I draw that from. So, growing up in Midwest, Middle America, this really hit home to me. Although I've never grown up in Arkansas. But basically they are chicken sexers, which I didn't even know was a thing. And basically they are hired by chicken farmers and factories who, of course make chicken, grow chickens, or raise chickens. And basically, in the production, they want more hens than they do want male chickens because, of course, like turkeys, they taste better. They're juicier, plumper, and also softer meat. Not so much muscle that you might get with a male chicken, vice a hen. And so, which I didn't know was such a thing, that they actually look at, I guess to determine the sexes of these chickens. They actually, when they're a little chick, they can actually flip over the chicken and tell, looking at its, sexual organs there, whether it is a male or female, and the factory discards the male chickens. But that is just basically what they do to make a living, and they had been doing that for quite some time in California, and Stephen was very, very good at it, and he's very quick to be able to, go through a whole host of chickens and determine their sexes. His wife, however, has more trouble with it, not being as practiced as he is, or experienced in this as he is. So it's likely, it's never said what she had done before, if she had done anything prior to the marriage. But somehow, I guess because he's in this business, that's the work that he was able to get for her, assisting him and, basically anyone else who is hired by these factories. But he is able to secure a job moving from California to Arkansas, basically because she's not as fast as he is. So other than both of them not work, he decides to look for work where it's a smaller factory for chickens, and basically where she can keep up. And he can excel and move on to other things. Basically, he wants to become a farmer. When he gets this land, which he pays for and also takes loans out for in Arkansas, it comes with a mobile home, which basically, fascinates the children, of course, but discuss the wife, thinking it a major step down. A house with wheels, who would want that? They're not, a bunch of hicks, being from California, despite working with chickens. But apparently Stephen has some kind of experience. He says at first he wants to start a garden, but, as his wife discovers, he has kind of bought this large, many acres of land to start farming and move into agriculture as far and away from chickens, while she still kind of supports the family doing that. And basically this is their trial and tribulation. We find out that they haven't really been very well off financially, but they're both able to make ends meet. The daughters, they have a perfectly wonderful daughter. The son, played by Alan S. Kim, is a fantastic newcomer, very young, and we find out that he's had a heart condition. And at any moment, his mother believes that he can die, and that's what the doctors have told him. So they are very cautious of him and very protective of him. And thus is another level of mistrust that Han Yen has towards her husband, Stephen Yoon, due to the fact that, on this farm, they are miles and hours away from a big city with a hospital, etc., in case he needs any emergency care. Whereas in California, everything was a little closer, if not more expensive, of course. But Stephen is very happy to get all this land, shows it off to his family. The mobile home is very large and spacious, at least 4-bedroom, double wide trailer. And once they fix it up, Han Yen really makes, the home shine, and it looks very, very nice. However, they have some water issues, some troubles with that. They're only allotted so much water by the city or by the county. Stephen attempts to dig a well for himself, not wanting to use a water witch to find a well for him. And unfortunately that goes awry as the well dries up and his crops are put at risk, which he's already behind on payments with the bank, which stresses their relationship even further. Bring in Yun Yu-jung, who plays the grandmother, and she basically starts to care for the children as Stephen and Han goes to work during the day on, the chicken sexing. And then later, Stephen comes home to work on the farm, eventually taking, weekends and his time off to devote fully to the farm. Now, the grandmother, Young, goes ahead and plants this plant, which is the name of the movie, Minari, which turns out to be a Korean parsley herb like that. And they say they use it in kimchi, and it's a good, almost medicinal, in fact. Very much, like and supporting with kimchi itself. And it's able to grow pretty much wild next to the creek that is a little on the outskirts of their property. But now this creek is far too far away for them to use for the crops. And that's where the well becomes a major issue as it dries up. And Stephen uses the house water for the crops, which the city, or the county, since he exceeds his amount, shuts off his water. And so the family has no water other than what the grandmother and the small child, the son, David, Alan S. Kim, carries up back to the house from the creek for use in food after boiling, and also for cleaning and basic bathing. And this is just more and further embarrassment that the wife has to take, as she just barely tries to hold the family together despite all of these problems it seems her husband is causing, especially financially. And unfortunately things, still pile on, the health issue with their son. And then unfortunately, the grandmother, Yun Yu-jung, has a stroke and is forced to go to the hospital. And fortunately, she survives, but, she's paralyzed on one side. And being out of city limits, they have to burn their trash. And so essentially, as the family is away, taking their son to, a doctor in Houston for a checkup, the grandmother, still wanting to be of use at the house, decides to burn the garbage, as they don't have any, since they live out in the country, that's what you do, you burn your garbage. There's no city disposal services that comes to their areas. And in doing so, she catches the barn on fire with all of the stored crops that Stephen had arranged to, unfortunately, sell to various Korean groceries and really get his business, his farm rolling. Fortunately, she's not hurt, but that does destroy that year's crop. And so, they're left with a dilemma. Do they stay? Does Han Yen leave her husband, taking the children and her grandmother back to California, where they can be cared more, closer to hospitals, and for, the son as well? Leaving this failure of a man behind, Stephen Yoon, which could go either way. I won't spoil it for you what happens, but that is pretty much the gist of this movie. And as you can imagine, it is a wonderful family drama. There are some funny moments. There are, as in any family situation, but it is far more a family drama, more so than anything else. No, a comedy or serious thriller or anything like that. No, it is a family drama. If you want to see how maybe as in yes, they speak at times they speak some English, but the family mainly speaks Korean. There are subtitles for this movie, but essentially it is, at its heart and its core, your typical American family struggling to make ends meet and get ahead, however they can, while still struggling, of course, in a relationship with one another to stay close and connected, despite financial and emotional turmoil and stress, that can come with any family. So again, if you enjoy family dramas, interesting stories like that, check out Minari. It is a shock, a thumbs up, as I said. I was very interested in this, especially if you're a fan of Stephen Yoon from The Walking Dead and from his some of his other work. You can't go wrong with this movie. Again, it's not a big action setup piece. You're talking about rural, America, deep in the heartland, with, Americans, Korean Americans, but still Americans, trying to achieve their dreams and their goals, both financially and to, raise and elevate their family as well. And again, it is a shock, a thumbs up. I greatly enjoyed it. There was an interview about this movie, discussing the facets of it, that I'll put the link in below that you can listen to. It is a NPR article that was on NPR News, I believe 2 weeks ago, possibly, talking about when it was going to start and the gist of the movie, and basically, the caring, at the heart and core of it, it is a family situational drama. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying that if you want a good, serious movie with a lot of heart, check out Minari. Look for it at your local theater, or definitely rent it online, or in a few months, definitely possibly streaming on services such as Netflix or Amazon or other definitely iTunes later to rent. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying mahalo and aloha.